I've been driving this Tundra as a daily family hauler for over 2 years now. Has it been smooth sailing like a classic Toyota vehicle should be? Or have the V6 twin-turbo engine problems made it a terrible experience and tarnished Toyota's brand image forever? I'm going to break down my thoughts and opinions in this video. Let's begin. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome, happy to have you. I do a lot of truck content with my Tundra here, but I will be dabbling in a couple other categories here coming soon, so stay tuned for that. If you get something out of this video, I'd love it if you click the subscribe button below. It's completely free to you and helps the channel, so I'd appreciate it. To level set on the exact Toyota Tundra I have here, this is a 2024 Toyota Tundra Limited, fully loaded with the top limited features and trim options you can get. It also has the TRD off-road package in this lunar rock color, and it also has the 3-inch TRD Lift Kit, which I do have a designated video on the channel talking about if you're curious as to more details on what that entails. As you can see by my wheel and tire setup, these are not stock. I do have a pair of Method NVs wrapped in 35-inch Falcon Wild Peak AT4Ws. Again, I also have a designated video talking about that setup on the channel if you're curious as to more details there. This truck was built and purchased in February of 2024, which is right after the deadline for the newest recall of the engine, if you have been looking into that at all. I'll get more into that in a little bit, and I also talk about that more on the channel, but just so you guys know, uploading this video, it has been over 2 years since owning this truck. So as an owner of this new gen Tundra that drives it on the daily with his family, I'm going to share my thoughts and opinions with you on various categories of driving this truck. Hopefully this provides some insight if you're looking into the Toyota Tundra, or you have one and you're just looking for other owner thoughts and opinions on this truck. Driving this truck as a daily on the highways feels really good. It feels like a truck, obviously, with the stance, especially with my 3-inch lift kit and wheel and tire setup that I have. But the punchiness of the engine, the responsiveness, the torque you feel, while obviously numbers correlating to a truck-sized and spec'd engine, it feels like you're driving a car almost at times because you feel like you're so nimble and quick on the roads. Now, with that nimbleness stated, there's also the contradictory point that a lot of people complain about, and that is the turn radius in this thing, which honestly is pretty awful. If you're buying a vehicle for a good turn radius, do not get this truck. There are other trucks that have better turn radiuses, but in general, I mean, don't get a truck if you're trying to fit into tight spaces or have that tight turn radius in general. But yeah, I will say I agree. The Tundra does not do a good job when it comes to the turn radius department. I have no major complaints and have had no issues when driving my family around daily for the past 2 years in this truck on the highways. I think it's pretty comfortable and overall does what it should do. Another aspect of everyday driving that's important is obviously where you're sitting as the driver and as the passengers in the vehicle. I really enjoy this seat. I have the Softex leather in here, which people complain about, but honestly, I like it just as much as leather. It's just as easy to clean, if not easier, and you still get the features of having the heated and cooled seats, etc. with these seats. So for me, it's great. This bulky leather wrapped steering wheel honestly feels really good. And I do have the heated steering wheel as well, which is nice for Midwest winters up here in Minnesota. But overall, I do really like the design of the wheel and the grip locations that it has and the perforated material they've used on here. I think it feels really good. Another complaint I've heard about the drivability is with the sight angles in the hood and such. I will say the hood does have some crazy action at times as far as bouncing or collecting rain, things like that. It's probably not optimally designed, maybe something they'll adjust on a future model, but at the same time, I really have no major complaints about it. It doesn't affect my everyday driving personally, but I do see when people see that there's some weird stuff going on with the hood and the sight lines. Sure, I get it, but at the same time, a truck isn't going to be that optimal anyway, so you got to understand what type of vehicle you're driving while making those complaints. Off of the main road is a place where this truck shines some of its features as well. Obviously, first and foremost, it's a 4x4 truck, so in things like snow, ice, winter weather, rain, it is going to perform pretty well compared to, say, a 2-wheel drive or just a rear-wheel drive vehicle. But having the TRD 3-inch lift kit with that off-road suspension, as well as the wheel and tire setup I have, though it's not necessary to this point, it does perform really well when going off-roading on, whether it's light off-roading on dirt or more grass trails with some hills and rocks, etc. I've had no issues there. I don't do any major air down the tire rock crawling type stuff, but overall, I'm very happy with the setup I have and it fits my style of driving and my needs very well. Obviously, one of the main things on the redesign of this new generation Tundra versus the previous is all the added technology you get in this truck. Now, in the Gen 2 Tundra, We can all agree that they were falling kind of behind on the technology compared to competition, so they were well due in 2022 for this complete redesign and upgraded technology. Now, in my package here, I have pretty much every piece of tech you can get because it is that maxed out limited trim, like I've said. Some of the key pieces of technology you get on the dashboard, as you can see when just sitting here and looking at the truck, are obviously this huge screen with all the Apple CarPlay and connectivity you can need. The dash is also fully digital, no more manual clusters and all that jazz. One of my favorite features, the digital rear view mirror. So as you can see, there's a consistent theme here. We got digital, digital, digital. That's the way everything's moving. If you look at other manufacturers as well, that's the way we are headed. So it's going to continue to go that direction. Overall, I feel like Toyota did do a really good job. I like the way everything is laid out and looks. I love this big screen and the connectivity here. At first, it did have some connectivity issues with my phone and CarPlay kind of being a hit or miss almost, but there was a software update and a recall that was done when I went in and got one of my oil changes as part of my first 2 years of Toyota Care, and that pretty much fixed all the problems. So far after that, it has been a flawless experience using that connectivity feature. The digital rearview mirror, like I said, I've called this out in several videos, is one of my absolute favorite features in this truck. The camera is crisp both in day and at night. I have it on 24/7. I do not use the normal rear view mirror anymore. And that's also something you don't often get in a trim level like this. When you're looking at other manufacturers, you have to upgrade more to that platinum or top trim in order to get a feature like this. So it is nice to have standard. Other creature comforts and features that I use every day in here are the heated and cooled seats, the heated steering wheel. I'm in Minnesota. It's cold in the winter. Luckily, we're getting out of it now, as you can see here by this beautiful day, but the heated steering wheel and seats are something that is on pretty much all time in the winter, and I use the cooled seats pretty much all time in the summer. I just love having the features. If they're there, I might as well use them, and they've worked flawlessly thus far. I do have the panoramic roof here with the shade. Now, honestly, most of the time I have this closed. I have 2 young kids, and in the back, if the sun is shining through the top, they're like, hey, can we close the shade? And obviously, yeah, I oblige to that and say sure. So while I only really use it if I'm driving by myself, it is nice to have. It does open up and make it airier in here, but for the cost, I don't know if I would add that as a feature again. Other technology you get with this level of truck, you get the adaptive cruise control, you got the memory seats with 2 possible settings you can adjust to. I do have the wireless charging here. If you've seen my other videos, I pointed out I really don't use this. If I need a quick charge, I'll use the cord that can be plugged in this huge center console here because it charges way faster using that than it does this. You've got different drive mode settings. That is normal, sport, and eco. I really only drive in normal. You got different TRD off-road features with this level of truck that honestly I don't utilize a ton. Am I a fake off-roader? Maybe. You've got the JBL premium sound system that I do really enjoy. I've had Bose, Harman Kardon, JBL, and different premium trim level vehicles I've owned, and it stands right up to those. I don't really notice much of a difference between those top sound systems they install in vehicles. They all have their pros and cons. If I were to call out a con here on the JBL system, I will say if you turn it up, the doors definitely have some rattle. It feels kind of plasticky and rattling, but overall, I think it's a really good sound system. But sitting here in the front of this truck, all things considered, I'm very happy with the tech and the features that I have on my truck and that Toyota did in the redesign. Let me know down below if you agree with that, if there's things you would like to see on this trim level or the truck in general that don't there or not offered, or if there's things other manufacturers are doing you'd like to see Toyota start doing in years to come of the Tundra. I want to touch a bit on the functionality of this truck, and obviously it's just that. It is a truck. It's 4x4. You got the bed. It's the 5.5 foot bed on the model that I have, and it's going to do the things that you'd expect a truck to do, and it's not going to do that really any better or any worse than all the other trucks on the market. When you're buying a truck, you're most likely buying it to have a larger vehicle on the road, to have the utility feature and be able to use the bed, to have that 4x4 capability because you live in a climate that has some inclement weather, or you just like how trucks look and that's what you want to drive. Either way, regardless of what truck you're buying, they're all going to share those similar aspects, and not really one of them is going to do something better or worse than the other when it comes to those general features. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the truck market. Some of the nice functional pieces I have here on my Tundra with my package. All these new Tundras come with this composite bed liner instead of just aluminum. So it's not spray-in. This is that composite, plasticky material that you do get from the factory. And it's all right. It is really slippery though. So I do have this rubber bed mat back here because if you don't, you throw stuff back here, it's going to slide around like crazy. I do have bed lights back here that does come on the power package. You can add on to the limited or other trim levels of truck. It's got all these nice tie-down hooks, which most trucks are going to have. And I also do have this outlet right here. where you can plug stuff in. Another nice thing back here is it does have these rail systems all around the truck for mounting bed covers and other accessories if you need. Again, most truck beds on the market are going to have that. Another thing that most full-size trucks are going to have is ample size. Obviously, there's going to be a ton of legroom. These seats are pretty far back right now in the driver and passenger, and there's still a good chunk of legroom here for any size adult to sit back here. Obviously, I got the car seats back here. It's a great family hauler. You can fit 3 car seats across in the Tundra here, and overall, it remains a very functional space. Toyota also has this under-seat storage here, which is different than some other manufacturers. Honestly, I don't know if I love it or hate it. I did like in the previous gen Tundra where you could lift the seats up and it would be completely flat here pretty much, so you could use it for hauling stuff, or I could put dog beds back there. Whereas now, if I had the car seats out and I lifted these seats up, you got this thing here that's, you know, 10 inches off the where your feet would go on the ground of the cab of this truck, and it's just got a storage compartment. I've really never stored anything back there. Obviously, mostly because I do have the car seats here, but even so, I don't know. It's kind of cool. It would be good for some cases, but I also did really like having the full flat section back here when you lifted the seat fully up, or the Ford F-150 is known to have that in a lot of their models as well. If I had the hybrid option of this truck, this is where the batteries would be housed, and that's why it's designed like this, but I don't, so it's just an empty storage compartment. I went over a lot of the technology this truck has and things that I like about it, and overall, everything is really functional. I haven't had a problem with any of the tech failing, other than that slight connectivity issue that I spoke on earlier. Some functionality pieces to call out that are not so optimal. If you've seen any of my other videos, you've noticed I've called out there is a pretty good wind whistle when driving at high speeds down the road, coming from this mirror area on the driver's side. Now, I actually have noticed it's gotten a little bit better, or maybe I've just drowned it out more. I haven't tried to fix it at all. Some people say you can fix it with some electrical tape on the spot where the wind funnels through and makes that noise. Overall, something that really shouldn't occur on a truck of this cost, and something that is definitely slightly disappointing if you're not ready for it or if you don't know how to address it. Another piece of functionality that I really don't like or use is the auto start-stop engine. Now, obviously, this is not exclusive to the Tundra. This is vehicles in general, but I'm not a fan. I tend to turn it off most times when I'm driving the vehicle. It annoys me when I press the brake and it turns off and it's got to turn back on. I don't know. I feel like the starter is going to wear out after time on that. That's not what they say in the industry, but not a fan. I don't really like it. Sometimes when I pull into the garage even, and I put the car in park, it'll shut off and then shut back on again before I even have a chance to turn the car off. And I think that's tied to that feature. So just calling that out, that's something that I'm not a fan of, but it exists outside the Tundra. Let's talk about everybody's favorite topic on the new gen Tundra, and that's this engine. Again, this new generation has a twin-turbo V6 in lieu of the old 5.7 V8, which people loved, adored, one of the greatest truck engines of all time. Now, I will say, having owned a second-gen Tundra myself, this does have more power. This does have more torque. It's got more get up and go when you're driving it, and it's a good driving experience. Now let's address the downsides. Miles per gallon. One of the things they advertise on this is having a much better MPG than the previous gen. Now, granted, I do have 35s on this truck, but I average between 13 and 14 miles per gallon, driving a good amount of highway and city combined. My colder climate's going to affect that. My wheels and tires and lift are going to affect that. I understand, just calling it out because I had a similar setup on my 2015 Platinum Tundra, and I averaged about the same 13 miles per gallon with the V8. So, no improvement there in my experience. The obvious drawback when looking at this new engine is all the recalls it had. It had the first round of recalls that was over 100,000 trucks. And then it had the second round of recalls that went all the way up through the 2024 model year, 1 month before my build date. So I am not part of the recall at this time. Who knows? Maybe they'll extend it again. It seems a little odd what's going on in that department, but that aspect can scare a lot of people off. Now I'm going to share my opinion here, which I've shared in other content as well, in that at least Toyota's making it right by addressing the recall and replacing the full engine, right? They're not fixing part of it or replacing a piece. They're doing full engine replacements on a lot of vehicles, which is costing a lot of money. So that's one aspect that they're making it right. The other aspect is you don't want to see this with a vehicle, especially a Toyota vehicle. Toyota and Lexus are obviously known for their long-lasting reliability, and that's one of the things that draws people to their brand. So when something widespread like this happens, they're going to lose a lot of luster in the public eye, and people are going to be a little standoffish about jumping into a new vehicle they're releasing. I will stand here as one guy that owns this truck, has driven it for 2 years, 30,000 miles, about 15,000 a year. I've had no issues with this engine. It runs strong and hasn't caused me any problems. All my regular checkups have been totally fine. And obviously you wouldn't expect to have issues within the first 30,000 miles of a vehicle. But in light of everything going on in the Toyota and Tundra world, I just want to call out Personally, I haven't had any issues. Now, I'm not fully confident moving forward I won't, just because of everything going on out there. But we got to remind ourselves that it's a very small percentage of trucks that are actually affected by this dramatic recall, and they are taking the time to replace the full engines. Granted, there's a long list and a waiting list when that were to happen. Luckily, I'm not on it. I don't have to wait yet. But overall, Toyota's making it right, or at least it seems so. Hopefully it doesn't get extended again. Hopefully they've addressed the problem, since it's inherently mainly a manufacturing problem and not an engine problem. And hopefully for the remainder of the time that I continue to own this truck, whether that's 2 months, 2 years, or 20 years, the engine continues to cause me no issues, and whoever owns it next will have no issues as well. Let's talk a little bit about the value proposition here. Considering this is a $70,000 truck, is it worth the money? I don't really know. All vehicles are expensive. All trucks are expensive. If you want a new vehicle, you're going to pay the price. That's just the reality of the world we live in. When I ordered this truck, I did look at other trucks from other manufacturers as well. And when comparing equal trim levels at the time, it did feel like I got a little more bang for the buck as far as features go with the Tundra. Now, obviously, another reason I bought the Tundra was because I owned a Tundra in the past, and I knew that Toyota and the Tundra were a reliable option in general. So is it a bit disappointing to see all of the recalls in the news and such? Yes, obviously it is. Does it have an impact on resale value? Yeah, if you look at the market, I think it does. Usually Toyotas hold their value a little more than this Tundra has. Now, I'm a little more insulated because I do have a pretty desirable setup with the Lunar Rock, the TRD Lift Kit, and the maxed out limited trim, something you don't find every day in the Tundra market. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed on the value drop it has had compared to other new generations of Tundra in years past. With all that said, guys, 2 years into owning this truck, 30,000 miles, I do not intend to get rid of it at this point. I do really like the truck. My family likes the truck. It does everything I need the truck to do, and I do really like the design and the features that Toyota did in this new generation. If you're considering getting one, or you already have one and you're just looking into different options, I hope this was at least somewhat insightful to you, or good to hear an owner perspective who's driven this truck as a daily for 2 years. If you're curious about any other specific features that I've touched on this truck, or the wheel and tire setup, TRD lift, etc., I do have a good amount of other videos on the channel touching on some of those things, so feel free to give those a watch. Otherwise, drop comments below as well. I try to be responsive when I can, so if you have any questions, let me know and I will try to address them. Otherwise, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Again, I'd appreciate if you click subscribe below if you haven't already. It helps the channel out and helps me create more content like this and other content to come in the future. And have a blessed day. I'll see you in the next one.